And as we take a look now at some of our U.S. and international headlines for this Friday morning, Joe Biden made world headlines by making remarks at the Carnegie Foundation that he doesn't believe that the United States is going to start a nuclear war, focused on all the proliferation of non-nuclear weapons around the world. He says that nuclear weapons are basically irrelevant. Meanwhile, reaction from Moscow about the new U.S. administration's steps. They said that they are going to react to what they do, not to what they say. Speaking of what they say, President-elect Trump, making remarks at a news conference this week, said reset button or not, we'll either get along or not. He basically is being very, well, I don't know if wishy-washy is the right word, but he's not being real committed in terms of whether he's going to be following through on the sanctions that have been imposed by the current administration or whether he's going to lift them. Doesn't really say. By the way, the Tu-154 that crashed into the Black Sea, the investigators have now said that they have ruled out terrorism, and the Trump Organization plan, that idea of handing over control to Trump's sons, is being criticized by the ethics chief of his own administration, saying that basically every other president has divested himself, and the idea that you're just going to hand over control to his son but then take it over again when he's not president, they're saying that's not a great idea. Rex Tillerson, the nominee for Secretary of State, basically is setting a collision course with Beijing right now in regards to the South China Sea, saying that they have no right to build artificial islands in area of the ocean that they claim as being their own territory. Donald Trump continuing to blast not just the news organizations that reported on the so-called fake Russian dossier, he's also blasting the U.S. intelligence community and saying that they did the same kind of thing that the Nazis did. He actually said that. It looks like there was a train wreck in Serbia where a passenger train rammed into a freight train. And a new report from the UN says that almost half of the casualties right now in Mosul are civilians. They said you might expect 15 at the top end, 20%, but they're seeing 47% of the casualties in the fighting right now in Mosul are civilians. And that is remarkable. You know about the huge snowstorms that have been ripping across Europe. Well, they hit Greece as well, and the Minister of Refugees there said that they're not looking to make excuses. They were simply caught unprepared for that kind of snowstorm. And lastly, Microsoft has been sued by a couple of its employees because they're suffering from PTSD. They're saying they got the post-traumatic stress disorder by watching videos and other online material that basically was graphic and inappropriate, and they were screening it because it had been flagged by their automated search engines as being inappropriate. Well, then they went and they watched it to verify, and they say it gave them PTSD. Now they're suing Microsoft. Microsoft is saying, hey, look, this is a learning curve. We're trying to protect the public, and we're also trying to protect our own employees. We're growing through this. I don't even know where to go with that story, but that's what we've got for our international and national news. Make sure you check out the Alaska news that's brought to you by Inland Petro Service, and my commentary today focusing on the issue of friendship in a modern, fragmented, partitioned world. If you like what I'm doing, please consider becoming a partner either through Patreon or by buying a direct subscription at my website, radiofreespeech.com. If you've got a suggestion for me, either a news tip or something you'd like to hear me do a comment on, send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com. Thanks.